Okay, my friends, this is exciting as can be. 13 cancers are related to this one physical condition, and it's increasing in the population. This is just out June 19th, 2022, and this is according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Obesity increases the risk of 13 types of cancers. And these are the kind of cancers that we've been studying, and these are the kind of things that probiotics and the natural bacteria in your digestive system protects you. It creates mucus, it creates enzymes, which are the catalysts that go out and break down your food so it's digestible, and they kill the invading bacteria. That's why you look at stomach cancer, liver cancer, kidney cancer, pancreatic, colorectal, gallbladder, breast cancer, everything linked to this one condition. So I'm conversing with my friend Marguerite, who probably you know by now. Her son had the most extreme autism and was basically completely turned around to a completely functioning, where after they were going to put him in a locked ward for the rest of his life, and now he's perfectly functioning in society. You know, he has some lasting effects from it, I'm sure, to some degree, but she said he was worse than a 10, and now he's around a 2. So that's not bad. Now, so I'm communicating with her today, and she tells me about this guy that is studying archaeobacteria or archaea, something like that. And where they find them is in lava and the geysers and these yellow salty pools, and they call them extremophiles. Well, what they are is bacteria, and they live in these extreme environments. Now, are they good or are they bad? That's the question. Now let's take a look at this. This just blew me away. All right, let's just look at this. Extremophiles are microorganisms. They're little tiny living organisms. Mostly they're archaea, and they live in the most extreme conditions. Geysers, lava, hot springs, all the environments you would not expect anything to survive. These extremophiles live there. Now, they call them archaea. Basically, that means ancient, and they just never seem to be able to be killed. Now, is that good or is that bad? I don't know. But let's see what some of the latest research is. I was absolutely totally blown away by this, and I'm just starting to understand it now, and it's very interesting. Okay, now remember this now. We're talking about archaea. These are these extremophiles. They live in geysers and all of these different kind of things. And I'm telling you right now, the Earth is composed of corpses, and these are the digestive systems that have the chemistry in them to break things down. The pancreas, the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, the heart. There's pumps, and then there's other things that secrete, the bile and gallbladder and all that stuff. Listen to this. Wait till you see this. Absolutely floored me. You got to pay attention to things. That's the problem. I almost missed this because I thought I was too smart. Watch this.
Chemical that we tested it on in the laboratory. It also did the same with pathogens, from bacteria to viruses and such. It just
Now, he's talking about these archaea extremophiles appear to destroy bad things in your gut, and they're designed for a specific purpose of cleaning up things. Let me go back again. Let me go back here. I should play the whole thing, but listen to this.
So when I say you're not getting your money's worth, well, if you're spending $50 and half of them are dead and the other half are wounded, you're really getting about $15 worth of probiotics from it. But Mother Nature behind me contains millions of strains, different strains of probiotics. So if Mother Nature contains millions of different strains of probiotics, what kind of an idea of it is to use just 3 or a dozen? My name is Dr. Jeffrey J. West. I've been in practice for over 26 years and have helped in that period of time well over 15,000 patients regain their health with my burning desire to find effective treatments that actually work. What I'm going to share with you today is a striking new discovery that we've made in our laboratory over the last 5 years that will revolutionize the way you take care of your health, as well as a way to make the probiotics work better. The secret that I'm talking about specifically are called the Archaea Microbes. Archaea Microbes will take out every chemical that we tested it on in the laboratory. It also
Now, I believe I have his email. I'm going to try to contact him, and I'd like to see the research on that and see, you know, are they just taking out the bad stuff? You know, I'd like to understand in depth. That's just the way I work. I can't go on the surface. It sounds really good because there's things they call prebiotics and probiotics. Probiotics are the bacteria that's literally living in this membrane layer. It's a fluid-filled highway, and they're little bullets of zip, they can go zipping through there. Fluid-filled highway. And bacteria have a flagellum on it. Zip, it spins 100,000 RPMs. It's like a rocket ship going through your body and attacking, bringing packages of enzymes. Those enzymes are what's called Magneto bacteria enzymes. The bacteria itself is a specific bacteria. It has a specific magnetic footprint. Let's say his head was the bacteria. He's going to have a plus over here, a minus here, another minus here, two pluses here, and that's what surrounds it. That's its magnetic footprint. It goes out until it finds something that goes clip, and when it clicks on it, it shoots its digestive juices in, and the case is closed. And it does the same thing to break down chemistry, so that you can digest it. It's all related to this kind of stuff here, and that's another thing that needs to be looked at carefully. Now, he's going to be talking, where does this archaeo bacteria come from? If it's so good. And how are these extremophiles, where do they live? Well, wait till you hear this. This just knocked me away.
also did the same with pathogens, from bacteria to viruses and such. It just takes them out. We found that Archaea, through our own research over the last 10 years, are an invaluable part of the microbiome, an invaluable part of life. They're basically the bosses. You could call them the bosses, but they're kind of the protectors of the microbiome. They will protect.
All right, let me just explain to you something. There's a video up called "Your Textbooks Are Wrong." This is what your gut looks like, something like this. All right, little interruption here. This is important. Now, do not click off of this. All right? I'm telling you, do not click off. You hear me?
Valuable part of the microbiome, a valuable part of life. They're basically the bosses. You could call them the bosses, but they're kind of the protectors of the microbiome. They will protect.
Let me show you what those protectors could very well be. All right, I think this might be the archaeobacteria explanation. Your textbooks are wrong. This is what your cells actually look like. And this was brand new research, a couple of years ago. This guy's name is Gokul, and this is from Seeker. And it's, again, your textbooks are wrong. And they definitely are. Now watch this. This is the interstitium he's going to be looking at, which is this membrane, this fluid-filled highway full of bacteria. And this is your immune system. It's just so obvious, it's unbelievable.
I still remember.
All right, let me turn it up. He still remembers the hands on his. Well, let him explain it. Here goes. Go ahead, buddy.
I still remember the moment. It's something I will never forget. The hair on my hands just stood up. It's a microscopic universe within each cell.
All right, within each cell. That's what we would call an immune cell. Inside these immune cells, the white cells which live in this interstitium layer. This is the layer, and right in here is all this interstitium. This is all interstitium. And this is a cell that lives in that layer that houses the bacteria and all of that other stuff. It's a white blood cell. And you're going to see all kinds of bacteria in here. Watch.
This is an unprecedented view of the cellular world, where we can actually see immune cells scoop.
All right, what she's going to say is we can actually see immune cells scooping up something in a zebrafish. What this is here, this is your immune system And bacteria are these things. Now, are these just enzymes, or are they actually living bacteria that this guy, one big guy, is coming around and globbing them all together, carrying them out through the interstitium to kill something? Watch, here it goes.
Scooping up sugars in the ear of a zebrafish
See it?
in real time.
And out it goes. To kill something, or to deliver some food, or do whatever it does. Now, that's one type of bacteria that's continuously living here. Now, there's another type of bacteria that does not basically live there. It's the scout. It's the one, and Gokul will explain it in a second. Here it comes. So first of all, we have this one, which is the delivery agent of the products that break down or kill things that are manufactured inside the cells that are considered the white blood cells, the immune system cells. If it's dead in there, nothing happens. All right, now watch.
Focusing only on the crawling immune cells, we've noticed two classes of them. One seems...
All right, this is the one that could be the Archaea bacteria. I don't know. Because you need one of them that has to know, is this something that is not in the program? And that's what it does. It's a sniffer. He says it goes out sniffing around. And what it does, in my mind, if it sees an invader coming through this region, which is your interstitium, it says, whoa, 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 we got trouble. And that's the one that protects you, and that's the one that makes health. The other ones work in the health range, but they also make enzymes to go out and break down products so that your digestive system can take them through membranes in. Membranes work both ways. You keep the bad stuff out, but you got to let the good stuff in. That's called ion channels. Now watch what this does. This sniffs around, and he says it. They've been watching this.
It was not hungry at all, but it was very active in terms of trying to figure out, what the environment is. There was another one that was kind of slouching around with a lot of food in its belly. We can actually conceptualize and visualize and analyze the contents of each of these cellular compartments in this crawling immune cell as it's kind of, scooping up its environment. I mean, that is a level of details no one's seen before.
We're living in a new era of cell biology, where microscopy advancements are giving biologists the opportunity to reveal the hidden patterns of cells. What we expect to learn from here on out will transform our understanding of human health and rewrite the textbooks on the fundamental unit of life.
All right, so there you have it. Something totally unexpected. Two types of bacteria. One of them is a deliverer or killer or chemist or whatever it is. The other one is a sniffer. It reports back and says, hey, we got trouble. There's a chemical out here that's going to break through the cell wall or whatever it is. All right, so back to the video here. Now, I am not endorsing anything yet, but I find this extremely interesting because of where they're finding these archaeobacteria. Here goes.
Well, if these are so great, Dr. West, how come I've not heard about these before? Well, microbiology knows about them. They've known about them for about 40 years. They used to think they were bacteria until they realized that they're different. Even though they're single cell, they just behave differently. They find them in very unique places. So microbiology calls them extreme microbes. They're found in the hot springs. The hot springs, the circles, they have the circle.
You see this? This is nothing more than biology. I'm telling you, the Earth is nothing more than biological, gigantic creatures. I can't explain it, but it's a fact. And this is it could be a gallbladder or pancreas or something along that, bile, whatever. And it has certain bacteria that live in there that break down the products to do a certain job. Simple as that.
Circles of, was it orange and yellow and blue that you'll see?
All those different colors are nothing more than transition metals. Transition metals are the biological shakers and movers of products. They call it metal complexes. They form locks. They lock onto other materials and move them around, and then the bacteria disassociate them and use them. Now watch. That's what the colors are.
Those are the Archaea Microbes. They're there in the quadrillions. They're everywhere. They actually fluoresce different colors, which is why they show up as those bright, brilliant colors.
Let me show you something. Here's why they fluoresce. All right, you see this? Transition metals are in your blood. Blood is loaded with these transition metals. Iron, +2, +3. All of these different molecules or atoms in your body have different oxidation states. That means they can collect things and they create transitional complexes. Listen, transition metals form colored compounds. Compounds are many different little items together. And complexes, they're very complex. The colors vary depending upon the charge on the metal ion, the number and type of groups of atoms called ligands. All it is it pinches, it's a ligand, it grabs a hold of it, attached to that metal ion in watery solutions, aqueous watery solutions. The ions form complexes with colors shown to the right. When they get to a different area that has other chemistry that says, hey, I need those items, it does a transfer. It does a transfer. It says, I give you this, you give me that. They call it nucleophilic substitution. It says, I need these 3 and you need these 2. Let's swap. Done deal. Boom. You have an entering group, you have a leaving group. And that's what these metals do. That's why you see all these different colors in Yellowstone and all these places. I keep saying over and over and over, there is nothing but biology, and that's just a fact. I cannot account for it. All I can do is display it, and then you can make your own judgment on that. All right, so here we go again. You make your own determination, but I'm showing you these are aqueous transition metal colors. They're finding these archaeobacteria living there in extremophiles. They can't die. So apparently they're programmed to do a certain job in this certain environment. Whether this is the pancreas, the liver, kidneys, they all have a certain cleanup job on your blood. That's where all this blood flows through. That's when you have your heart and your lung and your kidneys and your liver and your pancreas and your gallbladder and all that stuff. I mean, there's a ton of organ things going on there. And once you lose the bacteria that lives in there, you no longer can protect yourself. And these archaeobacteria could be the ones that know what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed. And when we take antibiotics and things like that, and some of the new foods and things, I'm a little concerned about that. Are they killing this type of bacteria in addition to the probiotics, which we can just sort of inhale a bunch of those and sort of help ourselves to come back? But these may not come back if they're too damaged. I don't know. Do they multiply? I don't know. He says they're here in the quadrillions. Anyway, let's go back to talking to the doctor about this, but I find this just thrilling. All right, I've been called crazy for a long time, but I'm telling you right now, that is the lining of some form of a digestive region. And because of the chemistry, because of the anatomy, you can actually see the anatomy, it should be able to be determined precisely what that is. Because I can find most of the things that I see, I can tell what type of organ it is.
The circles of, was it orange and yellow and blue that you'll see?
You see that? That's
especially
tissue.
in Montana. Those are the Archaea microbes. They're there in the quadrillions. They're everywhere. They actually fluoresce different colors, which is why they show up as those bright, brilliant colors. But you'll also find them in the volcanoes, right? In hot, molten lava, Archaea will survive there.
This is nothing more than poop. Almost 90% of what I have found is literally a rectum that's blowing this stuff out. And guess where there's a big one that I studied quite carefully. It's called Mount Spur. I've been called a rectum a lot, but I didn't realize it was true. It's up in Alaska. No, and that's just nothing more than composition, decomposition. You ever heard of spontaneous combustion? All that is biological materials, paints and oils and things like that, and biology that's covered up and festers and then explodes. And this is it right here. But it's a rectum. And that's this archaic stuff is living in there, and even that doesn't kill it. This is blowing my mind.
They also survive in acid mine drains. They survive in salt flats, areas that...
This is all chemistry of life. This is just staggering.
Bacteria can't survive in. So microbiology stops there, thinking that all they do is they're just extreme microbes that live in extreme environments. Well, in our own research, we've found them on the skin of humans, and animals for that matter. We've even found them already inside the human body and in stem cells. They're everywhere. And what happens when you put them back in the body, you get some remarkable changes, which we'll get to. I stumbled upon a name called Your Biotics, and because different patients get different responses to it, it's a very accurate name for it. When you take, and here it is, when you take Your Biotics, it does what your body needs. These microbes, these Archaea microbes, are so smart that they will tell which probiotics to do what job based on what your body is dealing with. So we've had foot fungus respond in people taking it orally, taking a capsule through the mouth. Plus topically, you can put it on topically. It's very interesting because these Archaea survive anywhere. They protect the probiotics. You can put it in a Keurig in hot scalding water and have probiotics survive. It's the only probiotic on the market that will actually do that. We started the product with our patient base approximately 3.5 years ago. The first week that we got it into our patient base, we knew we had something pretty special. The first patient that took it told me that after one dose, her 15-year stomach problem disappeared. I was shocked that it was only one dose. I had another patient that told me after about 5 doses, she had a swollen lymph node on the side of her neck. And within 5 doses, the swollen lymph node just disappeared. It was obviously not swollen, point tender anymore. We've had foot fungus disappear. We've had ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, some pretty nasty diseases respond to our product using these Archaea microbes. And the list goes on and on and on. The probiotic is now sold in the United States and Canada and pretty much every state of the United States, including a couple provinces up in Canada. And our goal is to get this out everywhere because we're the only probiotic that has these Archaea microbes in it, and because our research has shown that they're just invaluable to life. So give Your Biotics a try. We promise you won't be disappointed with it. And it is because of our own drying technique, not freeze drying. You get 100% of what's in this bottle. What the label tells you, right, is exactly what you get when you put it in water, because we have different plant chemicals in there. For instance, one ingredient is jasmonate. Jasmonate enhances bacterial growth. It also enhances stem cell growth. Pretty much it enhances life in general. So it actually stimulates the cells to divide. So you actually get more probiotics in here than what's on the label if you put it in water and let it get to work and become effective. You'll see in the video that the microbes inside here will actually glow on the microscope. That's because it's electrostatically charged. So there's cells in there that will turn gold and microbes that turn gold. Archaea are on average about 9 times smaller than the bacteria, so you have to really turn up the magnification to be able to even see them. So they're not going to show up on the microscope videos that we have, except you'll see a purplish blue tint.
All right, and all that is the Magneto bacteria. These different, you saw the transition metals. The only reason they're different colors is they have different electron configurations surrounding the central core, which means it bounces light off differently, different frequencies of light, just different colors. Simple as that. So the different colors just means it's magnetically attracted to different types of other chemistry. And every other living thing has a magnetic footprint
around the cells, and that is actually them because they fluoresce in color. So they're quite fascinating in what they do.
Magnetic.
So in here, in every single capsule that you'll get here, you will find the fluctuation that Mother Nature carries. So one capsule does not contain the same as the next capsule. There's varying amounts, and remember, it's not 1, 3, or 9, or 20 different strains. It's tens of thousands, actually millions, but we don't know what they all do. But there's tens of thousands of them that we have identified that we know exactly what they do. And because all of them are in there, they will work differently in you than it will on your neighbor because you have different needs. You are different than everybody else and you have different needs, and this will supply you with the different needs that your body needs. So the name Your Biotics, we kind of fell upon it. It's the only one that was available, and it happens to do what your body needs. So it is Your Biotics specifically for you.
If he's right about what he's saying, I agree. Because something in your body has to know what to attack and what not to attack. And let me give you an example. You have different cells in your body, and they only last a certain number of days or weeks or months. And then they die. And they have to be flushed out of your system. How does that happen? You don't want some kind of enzyme or catalyst or archaeobacteria in there attacking your good cells. No. But it's the same cell. It's just not alive anymore. How does it know it's not alive? Well, there's going to be a different chemical signature from it. It will have a different chemistry than a living one transitioning, because every cell in your body, on 100% of the cells in your body, 100%, except possibly the enamel on your teeth, is now in a transition phase. And it happens every couple seconds. Something happens. Something's coming in, something's leaving. Something's coming in, something's leaving. Oxygen, glucose, all the minerals, vitamins, moisture, all of that stuff, continuously. You stop that for 5 minutes, you are not alive anymore. It's pretty obvious that there's a transfer of particles. Now, how does it know which ones to take in, which ones to keep out? That's the job of the bacteria. Now, he says the archaea ones are the boss bacteria, which to me would be the ones that say, hey, we need some over here, get over here, attack that guy. He says, and that was the one that Gokul was showing squirting around saying he's not hungry, but he's always looking. It's so elegant, it's just incredible, but you think about how the human body works, it's just absolutely amazing. And the intelligence of the bacteria is stunning. Now, I got to be honest with you, I couldn't see anything I can disagree with what he was talking about. I say probiotics are the bomb, man. You got to have them, and you got to have them right, and you got to have them working, and you got to have them available every day. And every single part of your digestive system is coded. That's why all those 13 cancers are related to one condition. It's really a gut condition, but they call it obesity. Well, obesity happens because you're not getting the right amount of nutrition from what you're eating. So it says eat more, eat more, eat more. Sooner or later you're going to get something that'll give us what we need. But in the meantime, your gut and all of that stuff is not being protected because the bacteria is not strong. And it's more than likely you were assaulted with antibiotics, which is what happened to me. I had surgery twice. Okay, this is pretty straightforward and simple. This is biology. These little things and so forth, and all of this very green vegetation, this is up in Alaska. And this doesn't just happen like this and make these abrupt transitions and so forth. All of this is literally biology. And Mount Spur is up here. It just happens to be my name. And you see these different colors? This indicates different chemistry, as I showed you before, which we talked about. Now, here's Mount Spur. And it's a rectum. Right there. This here blows out. Now, where does it go when it blows out? It runs down here. Well, what is this? That is literally poop coming out of there. From Mount Spur. And it runs down this side too. Okay, here it comes again, shocker du jour. If you know anything about birds, you know that their sexual parts are different than mammals. They have a confluence of the feces and the urine fluid products together called a cloaca. And I say that's what this is right here. This is the feces part. You see it coming down here? Running out of here? Why do you think it would look like that? And this is the fluid side, which is these different chemistries. These different chemistries indicate different salts and minerals that are being washed out of your body, which is, you know what bird poop looks like. There it is right there. What's going on there? It's going to take a while to settle in, or maybe they're doing something. I don't know. But this is the kind of chemistry. Here it is right here. Let's see if we can get in there slow. Oops. Huh. It's interesting. But anyway, the two of them converge, and then that poops this out right into the bay. All right. This is Mount Spur right here. This is literally a rectum. I'm sorry, it is a rectum. Now, all of these, you see all these different confluences of river valleys and so forth? Those are all biology. It's eroded down to a point where you're into the chemistry. And Mount Spur erupted not long ago, and I studied it very, very well. And there's Mount Spur right there. And when it blew out, it blew out. Now, there's a way of looking at it where you can see it a lot better. There it is right there. You see how it squirted right out this way? It ran right down here, right down all here, right down here, right down here, and all this is poop. And poop makes things grow green as green can be. That's why it's so good for plants. Look at how green it goes. And this is the other part. Now, whether it had some kind of breach over here and broke through the wall of the digestive system, but this to me is the guts all the way down until we hit Mount Spur, which is Z rectum. And when that thing popped, you should have seen. There was an airplane flying over it, basically, and it went off like an atomic bomb. When they build up gas and they take a fart, man, I'm telling you, can be serious. I mean, I never had one like that, but, you know, I'm not quite the size of Scorpuzilla. Because guess what? This is Scorpuzilla's pooper. Here's Scorpuzilla right here. There's his head. Here's his eyeball. All right, his body runs all the way down. The shoulder is here. You see it? This is the body. This whole thing is the body. And wings or something coming down here, a leg. I don't know what this is. But right over here is Mount Spur. And that's right where you would expect the tip of the digestive system to be as it ran out his body. Right at the very end. Now, his tail continues and goes all the way around. The reason I call him Scorpuzilla is because there's a scorpion tail. See, and it squirted out here when he died. That little flare is the tip of the scorpion tail. And it squirted out here. And that is scorpion juice, I would believe. That's my take on this. Now, why can I say this pretty convincingly? Because if you look at the tail has a little bitty ridges here and there, which would give us some form of flexibility. But right here, you got a ton of flexibility. And why? Because this would have to retract into that. You see all this stuff here? That's made to hold this back, shoot it out, and kill something. All right, so Scorpuzilla's tail comes all the way around. That's his scorpion tip. Here's his butox, and there's his head, which happens to be California. The world is not what we thought it was, but what was written long, long, long ago, which we thought was just nonsense.